Recording in progress.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you. All right, let me do something, get things
Okay.
set up. All right, everybody, let me get things going right here. A little late today, but that's all right. We are right here with Joe Patterson. He's the leader of the NAACP in Seguin, Texas. And good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
All right, all right. Hey, we got a little things twisted this morning, but we are good right now. So,
That's okay.
yeah, well, I appreciate you dropping in real quick on the phone. Um,
No problem.
with you being the head of the NAACP in Seguin, how do you start off before you got involved with the NAACP?
You're talking about a long time ago. Uh, I actually started off by working with Goldie Harris. He was my coach in high school, and we went to an all-black high school for up until '67. And I followed him around, and he, being the president of the Seguin branch NAACP, influenced me to join in and start working with him. So I did. And I worked with Goldie for years. He passed away, and we had other presidents come in. Uh, Earl Mosley was the next president, and then his nickname was Bougie Crump. He was the president. That's a Seguin name. So
Okay.
James Crump was his name. Then after James Crump, I decided they asked me if I would be president. So I said, why not? So that's how I got into NAACP as a president. But I've been involved with NAACP for oh all of 40 years, easy 40, maybe 45 years, and
Well,
we've been a branch for that long
so you seen
and
a lot.
longer.
So you seen a lot of things come and go. Being
Oh yeah,
ski, you seen the um, things change a lot there in Seguin. And with that
oh yeah.
being said, what is the difference between n- back then and now?
Well, as you could imagine, things changed tremendously. The community as a whole is relatively small. We at that time we probably had 14,900 and some odd people in the community, of which 11 to 12% of that was black. Um, since then, we're now at about 7% blacks, because as you can imagine, as these kids grow older and graduate and go into college and learn things, and they want to branch out. So a lot of them leave, go to larger cities, do things, and the parents remain. And that's about where we are now. Is a lot of parents and grandparents are still here. We have youngsters. It's not that they've all gone. We have a lot of youngsters, and they're doing good. My son and my daughter, as a matter of fact, is currently managing of the workplaces that they are at, and they're doing excellent. And they live in Seguin, so it's not a desolate place that you might imagine in your mind. Is that kind of what you were thinking about?
Yeah, because I moved in the area in 1978, and I remember going through Seguin. I remember some tough times in Seguin with the law and stuff back then, because they were saying avoid Seguin at all costs. I said, why?
Well,
Maybe they had a
let me
bad
address that.
experience. Okay.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. No,
I,
you say what you had.
I said
They had what?
maybe they had a bad experience going through there, like maybe speeding or whatever. They didn't elaborate on that, but I went there several times. I used to have friends out there that moved from Seguin, and I think it's a fine town.
Yeah. Now, to be honest with you, now I'm from Seguin, so I'm gonna be biased. Okay. But as I'm 74 years old, and all of my growing up in Seguin, I can't remember any particular time that we've had a racial issue in Seguin, because when we integrated in 64, 65, somewhere in 65, we integrated that year, and the black kids that was at Ball High School, which was all black, moved out to Seguin High, and we were welcomed with open arms. I mean, the coach was drooling at the mouth because he was getting some good football players naturally,
Yeah.
and I played football too. I was in the band up until then, and when we moved out there, I got into football more. But I have I have friends that I grew up with that I'm still in contact with. I mean, I grew up with them from little bitty. I'll use that term, and we've never had a problem as far as, yeah, we had a couple of situations where Mr. Mosley in particular had to talk with some people about things at the swimming pool or stuff like that, but we had our own black pool. So we didn't have to go, we call it, to the white pool, but everybody was welcome to go anywhere they wanted to go. The whites could come to our pool, we could go to theirs, Hispanic had theirs, we could go to theirs. So nobody was restricted from movement anywhere you wanted to go. We could go any place we wanted to go. Now, there were some places that may not have believed that 100%, and they were reluctant to serve you like they would a white person. But that didn't last long either.
Okay.
That came and went real quick. Right now, as president, I've never had to go forward with a racial matter to address to any of the Seguin leaders, primarily because we've gone through in the last year to a year and a half, no, maybe 2 years now, an exercise where, as a board, we decided to bring all the leaders from the community, in which I pretty much knew them all along, but we wanted to bring them and put them in the front of us and have a conversation. So the mayor, the city manager, the judge, the county judge, rather, the chief of police, the sheriff of the county, some of the police officers themselves, superintendent, we brought everybody at one time individually before us over a year to a year and a half time. And we talked to them, and our primary purpose, as I explained it to them, was that when they sat at the table, because we may not have anybody at the table when they are making decisions, don't forget that we're here. And if we have an issue, we're not going to come and march in the front of their offices and all that. We're going to come inside, sit at the table, and talk to you. And we want everybody that's involved with those problems to sit at the table so we can fix them. We're not going to cause a big disturbance, be on TV. No, we're going to fix them at your table, and you're going to be a part of the fix. And that's worked out perfect.
So what were some of the problems that you had to address to them? Any of your concerns?
Since I've been president, we talked about police profiling, because we've had a couple of people feel like they were profiled. When we have that come up, I bring the person in and have them sit at the table and discuss with us the issue, because we want to know what is the issue, so I can know if I have to carry it forward, I want to go forward with it. Come to find out, one of the individuals in particular didn't have a profiling problem. He had a mental problem. I mean, just point blank.
Yeah.
He had a problem where he felt like the whole world's closing in on him. And Seguin PD, since he moved out of Seguin, was tracking him. Waste of time. I mean, but, we dealt with it. Real problems, I can't think of any real problems, but we talked to him about the George Floyd situation, letting them know that we didn't want that situation in Seguin. We don't ever want a situation like that. We actually formed a police coalition with the blacks in the community, and we had meetings. We met every month during that period to talk about what we need to do to prevent that from happening in our town, in our area. And it worked out perfect. I mean, we didn't have any problems. So to say a particular problem, I didn't have to address any particulars, but I wanted to do it as a practice to let them know we're here.
Okay. So let's move on to voting.
Okay.
How is the voting drive going there in Seguin?
As a formal voting drive,
Yes.
we're ground zero, to be honest with you. We haven't started any phone calling, any knocking on doors or anything like that yet. So, and I only say yet because Tammy has come in and she's an extremely good motivator, and we're talking about those things. So I'm sure we'll be getting on board with that.
Yeah, because with the voting part right there, Um, will there be? Are you gonna have any challenges to get to the people? The reason why I'm bringing this up is I talked to several black men who had never voted before, and
Yep.
I talked to them and told them about voting. Well, it's not going to do me any good. I said, well, what about your kids and your grandkids? You know what they told me? I never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we definitely have
Well,
to get out there and educate the voters that they need to vote.
yeah. The one thing now in the past we call people, we talk to people, and we ask them, are they planning to vote? Have they vote? And will they vote? They Some of the comeback was, well, we're going to vote, and we can't ask people how they're going to vote or encourage them to vote one way or the other. Just the fact that they vote. And some of the elderly, I'm elderly, I can't say elderly, period, but some of the elderly in the community informed us, well, I've been watching Fox News and they tell me to vote Republican. I'm like, oh my Lord.
Mm.
So that's one of the problems that we run into is our people, a lot of them don't expose themselves with people in politics where they understand where they need to be and where they need to get their information from so that they can make the most intelligent, best decision possible to help them and others out, other black people in particular, help them out. So they watch Fox and they go with what Fox says. And that's happening in Texas in particular. And that's the one thing we got to figure a way out to let our people know. Make up your own mind. Know which way you want to go. Be educated. Understand. We don't have a mechanism to educate people as far as the details of voting and making sure that they get the word correctly. Because nobody congregates in a particular spot where you can go to and meet where they are and talk to them.
Yeah.
You know, Mr. Patterson, I'm glad you brought that up because what we're learning is that people are getting their information from social media. They're watching the news, and if people are telling them one thing, they're thinking that's what they're supposed to do.
Exactly.
And I know
Exactly.
you mentioned that you guys haven't started any making phone calls or block walking. And this is what I've suggested to many of us is that we need to be having these conversations all year. So when it's time to vote, we're already have an influence on the community to say, hey, this is what we need to look to. This is what we need to pay attention on. And then making sure they're informed on when to vote. Because a lot of times they'll listen to something on the news, which is not always factual. They'll give you a small sound bite, but not giving you the policy that was done that is creating some of these issues, project on us. Now, Fox News is the loudest voice in the room. That's why I had wanted to have you come on to speak to us, because Ron and Tammy has opened up this platform for Texas in Color so we can reach our communities to let them know what's really going on. Because this is a way that we can reach them outside of making the phone calls and knocking on the doors, because we're needing to send help in areas to where there may not be a large Black population. There is organizations that may not even organizations are there. So I'm very glad to hear that you're bringing up the point that we need to be having more of these conversations, because that's how it was back in the day. And I'm pretty sure that's what influenced you on joining the NAACP, is those individuals being vocal, letting you know what was going on in your community.
That's true. And me being involved with my mentor, Golda Harris, led the way and opened some doors that I probably would have never been open to. And I probably would have wound up one of those people saying, I don't need to vote in that stuff. Let them go.
Yeah.
Plus, Texas is not the best place to gather information and to even try to do anything, because they've discouraged us to the point where you don't even feel like it's worth it anymore. A lot of people really don't feel like it's worth it. I've heard that from some of our people that are close to me that I can talk to that degree. They say, man, why do I want to vote? I don't. they're going to do what they're going to do anyway. And these Republicans rule everything. So why? And that, over the years, that's why we are at the point we are with the Republicans being in the position that they're in. They dominate everything.
Yes, I think 29 years here in Texas, they've been changing the rules as it goes along. They want things their way, and they think their way is the best way. And nine times out of 10, they don't have an answer, but they could give you those sound bites and let you know this is what we're going to do. They never talk about the future.
I agree.
And that's what I don't get. We got kids right now that went through that stage of school shootings, and what they had to realize with them not doing nothing about it, those same kids are registered voters now.
Yep.
And
that's true.
That ought to scare the mess out of them for that to happen. Okay, we talked about it for a long time. Now they're going to come out in droves.
Yep, that's good. That's good. And we need to be there for them.
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback on something you said as you was coming up and you were introduced to the NAACP. I was the same way. But then we had recreation centers everybody met at. We had even the basement of churches where community was there. That village was there to inform everybody on this. We even had candidates came in there and talked to us now and then back in the days. That sort of grassroots sort of just went away.
Yeah, it has. I mean, number one, the places of congregation. We don't have those anymore. Like I mentioned a while ago, we had the black swimming pool. People would congregate there. If you've been to Seguin, we've had teenage spot, which you dare do that nowadays. It would be shootings all every weekend. But we had spots for teenagers to hang out, the Aristocrat. That's where all the young people would come and hang out. And we didn't have any real problem. Yeah, we had a few skirmishes because that's teenagers. And then we had Tony's Steakhouse. And all our churches, we had, I think it's 18 churches in the Seguin area. Black churches I'm talking about. Those churches would participate with the NAACP to push for membership. Right now, it's limited. We still got that many churches, but each church only have 8 people, 10 people. And they're older people that are 60s and 70s and 80s. So our young people have dropped off the radar, and I don't know where to go find them to communicate with them. And you say the websites and all of that, yes, but we got to do that. Yes, ma'am.
So, Mr. Patterson, there was 4 cities that I was made aware of that has a large population in Guadalupe County, and I'm going to admit, I didn't realize there was Black people in Guadalupe County until I met Tammy. And so started doing some research. No, for real. There is a Black county chair that's in Guadalupe County. Cibolo is one of the largest cities that has a Black population. Is it Schertz has a large population, of course, Seguin. And then they said there is a large population, and I don't know if it's Black or maybe people of color or Hispanic in New Brunsville.
There's no large Black population.
Okay, so it must be Hispanic then. Okay, so how far is Cibolo, Schertz, and Seguin from each other? Is it a large distance to where it is maybe challenging to commute? Or is there some type of central area where we can maybe locate maybe a church that will be willing to maybe host a meeting area for just to kind of have a meeting of the minds? Because sometimes people may be thinking the same as you, but they may not be the ones who initiate that type of interaction. But maybe we can help facilitate getting people together, because once you start meeting and doing some things, people may start coming. Yeah. Have that ever been considered?
Not in that format, no. But to answer your concern or your question, if you had to do a area, I would say in a general area, Seguin, New Braunfels, I'll put San Marcos in there because that's a town 23 miles north of us. Cibolo, those towns are within a 25-mile radius of each other. None of them are as far distance from one another. New Braunfels is 15 miles northwest. Cibolo is about 14 miles west. Schertz is about 16 miles west. So it's all within a 25-mile radius. You can capture all of them. And Seguin would be the one that has a black population that, like I said, 7%. And it's almost 40,000 now.
Mm.
So what about the military? I was made aware that there's a large military population, I believe in Cipolo, possibly?
Yeah, Randolph Air Force Base. And you got the Army Medical Centers in San Antonio. Yes.
Okay. So there is a decent sized group that can start possibly coming together in those areas.
Who's going to organize? That's the only thing. I can't, so let's not go there. I mean, I'm getting up in age, and all these hours, I'm involved in a lot of things in Seguin. I'm only saying that so we can talk about it. I'll help it get going, but I can't run it.
No, so you are the advisor, you are the oracle. You are going to be the guide for us to get things going, and that's why I'm asking the questions, because I'm not familiar with the area. So I have to trust your knowledge, your wisdom, and your insight to get a good idea, because it's so much history that we don't know. And the only way we're going to learn it is by asking and being involved. And I know you're not in a position anymore to continue, and you're looking to pass the torch. So I'm hoping that we can say something to inspire someone to come in to hand that torch to. Because I was totally moved when I spoke to you, because you had so much history and letting me know what was going on in the city that people may not be aware of, because it's not being talked about. So we want to give you that platform to let people know that there is a Black presence in Seguin, in Guadalupe County, that still has a lot of fire and a lot of fight that's still there. And we want to make sure that continues on.
Okay. Did you see my bio? I sent that.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's me.
Yeah.
And I don't see me changing. What was that? I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, I read your bio and I was I'm blown away of all the things, accomplishment that you did in that area. You have did a lot.
I guess you say I can't say no.
Well, yeah.
And with Little League Baseball, that's been one of my I guess you can say prime interests over the years, because my sons played it and I've been involved in it, and it bled off into a lot of other things. But the one thing that, if people hear Little League and they think, oh Lord, here we go. The one thing that has done for me and people around me, number one, I meet a lot of people that's not familiar with the Lord. I bring them into the Lord, okay, and I talk about it to them. And when they get stupid, I remind them, good Lord is watching, so don't get too crazy with me. I try not to ever get upset. People say I'm unusual. They've seen me the way I operate. I don't get upset. I've had people start raising holy hell and fussing and going on, and I let them go for 10 or 15 minutes, and they look at me, Mr. Patterson, are you hearing me? Yeah, I'm listening. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have been doing like this. I let them see they're stupid. Excuse the way I put it, but that's the truth. And the Lord have answered me in a lot of ways involving myself with Little League. Back in 1981, 82, I asked the good Lord to show me a way to get involved to help and support the world, the whole world I'm talking. And I had no idea where that was going to lead me. God said, okay, you ask, and I'm going to give it to you. He put me involved with Little League Baseball. And I sat at the table with 24 other people from around the world and made major decisions that impacted the world. One in particular, Little League Baseball was looking at stopping paying for the travel and expense for tournament play in the Far East, Asia. It was costing them $650,000 to $680,000 a year to do that. And they were talking about cutting it out. I stood at the table and said, no, we are not going to do that. So how can you say it, Joe? We call ourselves an organization that's for youth around the world. We're going to do it, or we're going to change our titles. We're not going to be the organization for youth around the world if you do that. They threw it off the table, said, nope, we're going to do it. You're right. So I impacted the world in that respect. Not only that one, but there are others. But that's just one I wanted to share with you to say how my involvement in the community is the same. I show kids that there's somebody out there who's not going to let this thing get out of control. Black, white, brown, Hispanic, you name it. They're going to see it. And they say, when they hear Joe Patterson's name coming, they go all straighten up. So that's my impact. Okay. And I'm involved with the NAACP and all others.
So how many with the members with the NAACP? First of all, do your branch have a website?
Well, yes and no. I say it like that. Tammy is trying to help us get that all formalized. We have one, but it's scattered. It's not fixed. So Tammy's going to help us get that repaired.
Okay. Yeah, because I was looking for one on your branch right there. So how is it? Do you go out and seek members, or do they come to you? You have a membership drive, or what do you do to get more people in?
In November, we make a few calls. I'm not saying we bombard the count. We make a few calls. We send out people who attend these meetings to bring in members. And that's how we get our members. And it's been harder and harder to get people. But it's been tough.
So let me ask you.
Well, we're going to help with that. So Ron, you see, Ron has already asked some questions to kind of figure out what he could do to jump in to facilitate getting you guys up and going. So we're listening and we're paying attention on what's needed. So Ron wheels is turning. I don't know if you see it, but Ron, I see you, yeah. Ron.
I hear it. Now, one thing before we go any further, let me say this. I have written headquarters of NAACP in Baltimore, and I've asked for permission to allow Seguin branch to come up with 30 members. We have that. Come up with 30 members because of the size of the community, the age of the community, and the difficulty in getting people to come in. Let us have 30, and we can grow from there 50, but let our recognition start at 30. I haven't heard anything back, nothing. And I did that about 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay. It's time to shake some trees and
please.
Heard. It's time for that. The one point I was going to bring up, we know how they are purging the voting to eliminate people. Tammy said, somebody said, if you don't vote in 2 major elections, you're automatically taken off the voter roll.
That's in Texas.
That if I'm right.
Okay, we need to check that out.
Yeah. So, do you have anybody to check to make sure that they're not taking people off the roll? Is there any way you can get a hold of that yourself or see what's going on?
I can ask. I'll talk to the voter registration person that's in charge here in the Guadalupe County area, and I'll ask her. I mean, I'll have her come in and talk to us.
Because the last thing we need is have people taken off the road. They go stand up and vote and find out they're not there again.
Right. Yes, I agree. No, we can get the lady that's in charge of that.
Because that's one thing that I'm gonna start doing. I'm gonna start going to senior citizen centers, and I got somebody who is a deputy registrar that's gonna be with me, and we're gonna go to the senior citizen assisted living all over San Antonio to make sure if they need an absentee ballot, do we have a way to get to go vote? We're going to shake the trees all down here in Bexar County. We're going to try to make things happen right here to make sure nobody's left out.
Okay. Yeah, I can call today and ask the lady. I can stop by and talk to her. Ask her about that very topic. That's not a problem.
Okay. All right. Well, sir, I know you are busy. Can you give us a little bit on how did they get a hold of you if they want to be a member of the branch of NAACP there in Seguin?
Well, naturally, they can go to the website and register there, but for the NAACP. But I prefer that they don't do that because we wouldn't see anything. And 9 times out of 10, I wouldn't know they're on the board, on the member list, because they don't send anything to me. No money, no list updates, nothing. And we've asked, Tammy and I've asked for the list update, and we haven't got anything in response. They can call me, text me, email me, and I can give you that information.
Okay.
They can email me at my MSN email address, JOE099 at msn.com, or JOE09938 at gmail.com. Either one of those two emails will get to me. I can send them a copy of the application, and they can in turn send me via mail. I would prefer the copy of the request back to me, the registration back to me with the check or whatever, so that I can formally put them on the list, get it into headquarters, and they'll become our members.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, thank you for jumping in. I know you're on your phone. I know you're going somewhere, but I do appreciate you taking the time out to talk to us this morning. And this is not the last you're going to hear from me. I'm going to let you know that right now.
Okay, I hope so.
We're going to dig in and find out why you're not getting that information from the national office, because that's something we need to know, because we got the communication has to be there. You know,
yes.
We don't want nobody to get upset and say, well, if they're not going to send me the information, why am I still doing this? We don't need that lackluster attitude. We need to pull together and be together. And anything this radio station could do for you, anything, you just let me know. If you got something going on, you need a PA system or you need music or anything, I'm right here for you.
Okay, I appreciate that. And we'll be talking. There are some other things I'd request, but I'll wait. Okay. We can talk about it.
All righty, sir. Thank you.
All right.
And Sabrina, thank you for jumping on.
Thank you.
All right.
And we'll be talking to y'all.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Recordings.
All right, everybody. You heard that right there. That was Mr. Patterson there. He is in charge of the Seguin branch office of the NAACP. And, you know, it's a blessing to have everybody come on board like this. All right, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get on out of here. We appreciate everybody tuning in. And catch us next Saturday for another Texas in Color. Right here, you can catch Texas in Color on their Facebook site, their YouTube site. The YouTube is Texas in Color. Please go on there and subscribe to the channel right here. All right, this is Ronald Gordon signing off.